You also see me standing in front of an interesting structure. This is an arch, Dougherty. And so he did that, and it was available for a long time. Kids would climb in. It was super cool. It's very similar to this, but it was made out of tree pieces. And so this area is a wonderful place where the town of Hillsborough is right up the road. Weaver Street Market, which is a fresh market, all kinds. It's a cooperative, so you can buy into it, and it has all kinds of good stuff. Right up the stairs, or you can go up the ramp. But it allows us to have a sense of, ooh, we could go walking. We could be in town, we could eat in town, we could visit in town, we could do things in town, and then we could go for a walk, or go for a walk and vice versa. So what we're going to do are some opportunities for people living with dementia, interactions in a setting like this, and what kind of things might happen and what kind of skills could come in handy. What might be a case where I run into somebody and I'm not sure where I'm at and I could use some assistance and I'm not sure how that's going. So I'll start off. My friend Katie is here. We have other folks may run across here. I'm gonna, hey. Now this is new, isn't it?
You're noticing this? Yeah, it's new.
Oh.
Yeah, it's new.
Well, how long has it been here?
Well, that goes up that direction to a...
This lady. And I'm not sure she's exactly sure of where she is, when she is, and what's going on. So Katie, what were your hints that maybe I'm not as somewhere either in town or in a shop or something, and it's starting to sound more like I might have gotten separated from someone I was supposed to be with, or although earlier on I might have known what I was doing and where I was going, it doesn't necessarily seem like right now. Could be, but if we was with somebody who seemed to be of questionable ability to figure things out, and I decided I wouldn't do anything about it. Oh, by the way, right over there, that's actually the police department for our area. I wanted to point that out. You can't see it from here, but if Katie is from here, she might actually know that that's that, or we certainly have Weaver Street up here. But if you look elsewhere, there's a lot of places I could go that won't necessarily put me in a space or place where I'm necessarily going to get more help. So, Katie, what you gonna do?
Hey. I'm Katie, and you're...
Oh, Katie, I'm Teepa.
Hey.
Yeah, now, do you live near here?
You're wanting to know where I live.
Well, yeah.
I live a little ways down the road, and you?
Well, I think I'm nearby here, Hillsborough, right? You said Hillsborough?
Hillsborough, yeah, I live here in Hillsborough.
I think I live sort of close to Hillsborough. I don't think I live in Hillsborough, though.
Yeah, you're thinking you live...
No, I don't think so.
Hillsborough or somewhere else?
No, it's near, but
near. Okay.
Yeah, but boy, that's a loud truck, isn't it?
It is a loud truck.
There's a lot of cars going by.
There's a lot of cars going by,
now,
yes.
Did I come by car, do you think?
Come by car? Well,
Maybe I drove here.
Oh, you're thinking...
Okay,
you drove
now
here.
what are y'all thinking? Oh, if she did, But some possibilities. So maybe I was fine a little earlier. What could be going on about this time of day, Katie, that might change my brain abilities?
It's the end of the day.
It's the end of the day.
Very tired, very fatigued.
I'm fatigued.
And you're...
What else? There's some other options. What are some other options that might be going on?
You're hungry.
I'm hungry, or even more, maybe I have diabetes and...
Your blood sugar is
My
real
blood
low.
sugar is getting low. And so my cognition is changing because my blood sugar is getting low. And I may or may not realize my blood sugar. What else might be the case? I don't know. Katie's thinking now. Yeah. What else could it be? I was with somebody.
And you're now wandered off.
And I was looking at
myself.
something. What might have what kind of things have you noticed have been distracting me?
The cars.
The cars, the noise, people. So it could be that my partner just looked away for a few minutes and I'm gone. And so for me, I actually do have a partner with me, because coming up with the cars, why did I come up with I might have arrived by car?
Because you probably drove in a car with your partner.
Yeah, that very well could be. Or I used to drive cars. Or I used to live outside Hillsborough. I do live outside Hill. I mean, there's so many options here, which is why Katie's still connected to me, and I'm fine with being with Katie, which is a good thing, because Katie's getting even more data about me. So she found out my first name is Teepa, which may or may not help her. Now, in this case, not many Teepas floating around. I bet you could throw that one up and somebody might catch it. But what else could you do, Katie, to find out a little bit more about me? Because I noticed you have something with you that might come in handy in a little bit here.
Yeah.
Oh, what's that called?
It's called a telephone.
Oh, a cell phone. Yeah, you can have one of those. So this kind of thing where Katie could, you know, what kind of alert is it called when you sort of find somebody that might not be where they're supposed to be doing what they're supposed to be doing when they're not young, and it's not an Amber Alert.
It's not an Amber Alert.
It's not gold. Your hair
A silver alert.
Silver alert. So it might be time for in North Carolina for a silver alert. We've got somebody that we found, so you could dial in that 911 number and say, I have somebody here. And I'm not sure she's where she's supposed to be. It's more of like a silver alert situation, but she's with me. So we're sort of speaking in code a little bit. But, you know, there's a silver alert. Oh, I know where I'm supposed to be. I'm looking for my husband.
You're looking for your husband.
Now, what do we know now, Katie?
You're married.
Well, at some point I was.
Yes.
I might be a widow. Just looking for my husband. I'm not far off. Or I might be remembering my husband, and I am far off because now I live with my daughter. I mean, there are so many scenarios this could be. And so Katie is just being helpful. It's taken. So, I mean, one option is to take me over that way.
Yeah.
Another option is to walk up the street with me.
Right.
A third option is to place there's a woman over here, and she doesn't know. I mean, you could. Does anybody know where this lady came from? I mean, you could. I'm not thinking that would be your first choice. No. So, of those options, which one do you think for you makes the most sense?
Most sense for me is to...
You gonna do some more work with me before you turn me over, or what are you thinking?
I'm thinking that we'd go to the... we'd head up that way where you thought you came from.
We'd head up that way where I thought I came from that way.
Yeah.
So going across that way, so are you going to choose the steps, or are you going to, from what you've seen so far, are you going to choose the steps or something else?
Well, I'm thinking you seem very physically able, so I think
yeah. So the thing with dementia, you know, take me over that way. We'll see what's going. Do you want to just turn me loose and let me go up the steps by myself?
No, I'm thinking.
Why not?
Because I'm not sure how you're going to navigate that.
Well, I might navigate him just fine. Why else wouldn't you want to do it? Let's see if you guys out there have any ideas. Why might you not want to let me loose on those steps?
Because of the traffic.
Oh, the traffic at the top. There is a stoplight. That one's mine. I just have it there. Don't be stealing my wallet. I know you would. Don't steal that wallet.
Look at how it's made.
Isn't it cool? Isn't it neat? Yeah. So what we're doing is, if Katie lets me up those steps and she's not with me, you could make an assumption I'll pause at the top and then cross over, or you could be wrong. And which Katie would be really sorry. How would you feel if I walked out into traffic?
Oh, I'd feel awful.
Oh, you'd feel awful. So this is that skill thing that we're talking about, building some skill. So, okay, well, now we're going to take a little walk here. Now, Katie, if you were, let's just say this is a different scenario. I'm just walking along. Do you think it's a good idea for me, given what you're seeing here? Oh, look at that bee. That's a honeybee.
Hey, Teepa.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hey.
Hey.
There's a honeybee here somewhere.
There is.
I can't see it now. It was there a minute ago.
Yeah.
Yes.
Look at that.
Oh, there it
honeybee.
is.
Oh,
It
there
went
goes.
off.
Yeah.
It went off.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, so Katie, if you found me here and you're with me, let's say you're my partner, we're going to get over here in the shade. Because even though this is dementia at dusk, guess what? It's not real dusky right at the moment. It's still pretty sunny. So we're going to come over in the shade so my videographer doesn't melt, and neither do we. So why bring me?
Summarize what you're up to real quick for people who have joined.
Yeah, so people are jumping. We are talking about being in a close to a downtown space, but in a walking area. And you can see this is paved. It's cool. we've done that. This is Hillsborough. This is called the Riverwalk. It's really wonderful. It's a long loop of trail. And, ooh, look, little kids over that way. They belong to us. You'll get to see them in a little while. It is right next to a very busy road called Churton Street, which is the main drag through Hillsborough. Right across the way is a grocery where you can go, and then up that way is all kinds of things like, there's restaurants, there's an art studio, there's the library, there's bars, there's all kinds of things to do there. So the question is, how did I get here? That's what we've been exploring. How did I get here, and what would you do if you found me here? And it looked to you like I wasn't quite sure exactly where and what I should be doing. Or you're with me and I wander off the path into an area and you're noticing that my skill at navigating is really not quite good.
Hey.
Hey.
Hi.
Yeah. And so Katie's showing you that technique that we've talked about, that positive physical approach, where she gets where I can see her. She pauses and she goes, hey, and she gets connected so that now she has a platform for me to hold on to, which decreases the risk that I'll be making a mistake that's going to cause me to go down. But at the same time, she can sort of get me maybe back over on the pavement. Because isn't that pretty?
I like the tree.
Now,
yeah.
If Katie wants to go on this walk with me, we've got a real nice pathway looking ahead. I mean, it's a really nice gradual pathway. It goes around, it actually loops around, so we can make a big loop, which is kind of cool because then I can get a lot of steps in, so can Katie. But at the same time, if she wanted to like just turn things around, there could be a turnaround at any moment. And that allows us to figure out where I'm at, heading back. But what we're talking about is with this kind of walking surface, I can keep going. Here's the good news. I could actually roll on a wheelchair, in a wheelchair. We're going to take you up the steps in just a little bit here because I want you to see what happens when we get in town proper. I wish it was as well paved as this for people who have mobility issues because we work hard on being dementia-friendly here in Hillsborough, but we do have some risky environments that we have to figure out. So now we're going to notice something else. So I'm going to be somebody who's living with some brain change. My husband got occupied my husband, real husband, that's Dick, got occupied giving information to a couple who was really interested in the arch. And of course, you may have missed early on that he knew who did the original arch. He knows about this arch. He does a lot of sharing. He does a lot of living history. He does a lot of talking. So he's over there being real helpful. I was standing there waiting, let's say, and I got bored. Oh, look at those vultures up there. There are a bunch up there. That's called a kettle when they're like that. Oh, and look at those kids over there. Now, if Katie wasn't with me, I'm on my own, I'm going to head over to these kids because I'm curious. So Katie's going to just be another individual not interested in me. I was with Dick, and Dick sort of got sidetracked. And I'm over here. Oh, he's a cute kid. Hey, little boy, what you doing? Wait, come back. What you doing? Are you their father?
Yeah.
Oh, good. That's a nice shirt he has on.
Yeah, he sure does like pretty colors.
He sure does. That's a rainbow.
He loves rainbows.
Hey, little guy. Oh, don't tear that up. That's not nice. Hey, listen.
Can you show her your Frisbee?
Let me see your Frisbee. Oh, that's not a Frisbee. That's something else. What's that called? It's not a Frisbee because the Frisbees, they got the whole middle.
You want to show her how you throw it?
Oh, wow. You're good at that. You little boys are cute.
Whoa.
Wow.
So
What's on your shirt?
A megalodon.
A
Wearing
megalodon.
sunglasses.
Wow, that's something right
Shark
there.
with sunglasses?
Is he cute or what?
I think so.
Yeah, he's real cute.
You having a good day?
Ma'am, my husband's here somewhere.
Your husband's here somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know where he got to though.
We tend to wander, husbands tend to wander off.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
I mean, they wander a good bit. Hey, little boy. Oh, you
Jen's
shouldn't
up
do a stick.
You're volcano.
Am I
A what?
volcano?
Now you're a
Oh.
bumblebee.
I'm a bumblebee now?
He's a little
has got an
silly, isn't he?
imagination,
Hey.
So, hey.
Hi.
Hi,
I'm Katie, and you
Katie.
are
Oh, I'm Teepa Snow.
Teepa Snow.
There's
Nice
a
to meet you,
man
Teepa.
there. Is that somebody I know?
There's a man there. Yeah. Shall we go in? Let's go take a
Oh,
look.
never mind. It's nice meeting you.
Nice
I
to
know
meet
who
you.
that is. Where did you go to? I was looking for you everywhere. There's this woman that met me. Where have you been?
I was up there in the store. We were looking at the stuff for dinner, remember?
Looking at stuff for
Yeah,
dinner.
we were deciding what we were going to eat at the store, and I turned around and you were gone.
Well, I already ate.
You already ate.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
was it?
Where
that
did you
ate?
get this?
You left that up there too.
Well, why would I leave that?
I don't know.
Oops. So, guess what? Do you think my care partner, husband, was anticipating quite what I did? No. He really was not paying attention just for a little bit. But what happened, unfortunately, is during that little bit, I got distracted. Has there evidence that I do get distracted? Now, do I have anything on me that would help somebody help if he had my purse? Do I have anything that indicates who I am? Now, when I talked with Katie, at least I could tell her who I was. But if my dementia gets me worried enough, I might not be able to find the words I'm looking for. Because it took me a while to recognize him as my husband. So this is that situation where, you're out with me, maybe, just maybe, you want to have a card in my pocket. You want to have a bracelet on my wrist. You may want to have some kind of indicator, and frequently what people use are medic alert tags. Medic alert is something that people sort of tend to look at, whether it's on a bracelet or on a necklace. Medic alert, having one of those. Now I have something else that's there, but it's not a medic alert. Having something like that on my wrist could help somebody like Katie if I got turned around and separated and I was getting a little panicky. A card in my pocket that says, I'm Teepa Snow, call this number if, and it has Dick's number. But that means Dick had to have thought ahead of time that that could happen. And if it's the very first time it happens, what do you think his heart rate is right now? How worried is he? Because, oh my gosh, where did she go? What in the world happened? And he was pretty calm about the whole thing. We were looking for food, you were gonna eat, and then you were just gone. He didn't scream or yell. I mean, people have been known to do that in the moments, and he might in that moment make the decision he can't take me places again. Because when he takes me places, it's too stressful. It's just too stressful. But if he chooses to leave me at home and he goes without me, I may not be able to keep up with how long he's been gone and decide, you know what, I'm just gonna walk and follow him because we've been doing this for a while. This kind of coming to town, going shopping, going to do things. So now I remember that enough to think, well, it's not far to the grocery store. It's not far to this stuff. So my brain says, well, it won't be far. I'll just take off. But how far out do we live, Dick? About how many miles would you say?
From here,
Yeah, from here.
12, 15 miles.
12, 15 miles away. I live over in Eflin. And we're on the very edge of Orange County. And so there's a lot of roads between here and there, and I'm highly unlikely to be able to find where he is. But there's a lot of back roads between here and there. And I'm not worried about getting in the woods either, because I'm pretty comfortable with that. So this is what we call elopement. And one of the things that sometimes happens is we undervalue our first experience. So if Dick thinks, well, she just wandered off, and if the first time I leave the house, I don't get very far, you tend to think, so, like she did it once, she won't do it again. Or she hadn't done it yet, and we think, oh, it'll be fine. But you're starting to notice that my ability to keep up with how much time has gone by isn't working as well. It's just not working as well. So I think a few minutes has been a half hour. I think an hour has been a day. I'm getting turned around in place or time or situation, and that's when it gets really a little dicey. Now, when I was interacting with the little boys, anything there, Katie, that you noticed that seemed a little different?
The way that you were interacting.
Yeah, when I was
with them?
doing the things with the little boys. Did you notice anything?
That.
Katie's trying to think back of the interaction with the
Yeah.
little boys now.
Yeah.
See, this is called short-term memory. And in between that and this, we did another thing. And so the ability to accurately remember what happened an event before this event is harder to do than the immediately preceding event. If I'd asked more about the interaction with Dick or what I'd been talking about right away, Katie would be quicker at coming up with it. Now she actually has to go into the storage unit and look for the stuff that happened recently, but not right away, that was related to the two boys. So what do you see Katie doing? What are y'all noticing Katie's doing? She's, number one, she's using her prefrontal, she's thinking. But the other thing she's doing is looking over here at these two little boys and watching them. Like it's gonna trigger her memory.
A visual cue that will say to me, oh, that's what they did.
That's what she did. And
we're interacting with the Frisbee with them.
well, it's not a Frisbee.
No.
So what was one of the things I did?
You used a different word.
It's a different word because that's a ring thing. That's not a Frisbee. Do y'all know what a Frisbee looks like out there? A Frisbee is this thing that is rounded. You hook your fingers up under it and you throw it. It's sort of like an upside down dish. I can't throw it well, but I can throw it. That is a ring. That's a huge difference. But guess what? People talk about it like it's a Frisbee. But I'm showing evidence that I can't switch words very easily. I like things to be what they're supposed to be, and that is not quite a Frisbee.
Right.
What else do you remember about that interaction with the little boys? Anything else stand out as not quite normal? How many, and this is a curiosity because I don't know the answer. Don't pull that up. That's not nice. He's not my boy. He's not my son. He's not my grandson. He isn't actually in this case,
yeah.
but in real terms, do you think that me walking up and starting to discipline someone else's child or...
It's not normal.
That's not really normal. Maybe saying, that's not really nice, but not, don't pull that up is a little more taking on ownership of this child.
Right.
Going right into their personal space.
Going right into their personal space, getting on top of them, getting between he and his dad, then asking if you're the father, well, look at that, they've wandered off. Leaning in, talking about things. So I was friendly. I was being friendly, but I was a little on the close to the situation side. And if I was really involved there and then I turn around, would I lose somebody else? And this is the tricky part of having a dementia where I'm still pretty functional, but the problem is my hippocampal area, the learning and memory, learn and remember, and the wayfinding and the keeping up with time center, that hippocampal area on each side is starting to break down. So when I use one, I can't hang on to the others. And when I am focused on how much time has gone by, I start to get turned around with how I got here, where I am, how I get back, who was I with, what all's going on here, how do I find my way? And so this is where my distress level starts to get up. And I get distressed because it's hard to do this stuff when I'm living with dementia. And it shouldn't be, wasn't before. I could sort of go through it, but now I'm having more trouble. So we're gonna go back up this way because I do want you to see, oh, well, that was a dip, for real. But what we're gonna do is as we walk up here, what I've been talking about is how this is a really, really nice place. There's also a walk that goes under the bridge to the other side, so I wouldn't need to deal with traffic to get to the other side if Katie knew that. Because if Katie knew that, what we could do is go down this path, turn to the right, go under the bridge, walk across the area, and end up over on the other side near Weaver Street. But if you don't know that, this looks like the only way you could go. In which case, you're gonna have to deal with me with traffic. So let's come on up this way, because I do want us to think about city planning and these opportunities. Why is it good for me to walk on this kind of surface if I can walk on this kind of surface? What do you think, Katie?
Because it helps you with balance, and there's a lot more uneven surfaces and even surfaces in life.
Oh, so this would give you a hint right here of how I might do when I get into town, because this is me really walking and talking and moving and doing what I'm doing without really paying that much attention. I'm really not paying that much attention to what my feet are doing because my feet and my brain are doing their own thing. We're going to go up these steps because that's the way you get up to the road. We're going to cruise on up here. Now notice when I'm walking, did y'all figure this out? When I'm walking, did you watch me go foot over foot over foot? 1, 2, 3, and I didn't even use my hand. Now what I'm going to do is show you a variation that you might start noticing. So Katie, what's my dominant foot?
Your right foot.
My right foot. So what I do is I kit my weight over on my left foot, I bring my right foot up, and then what I do is I bring my left foot up to match. If I go up the steps that way, what does that mean about bringing me down the steps?
That you're going to want to...
I did something instinctively.
You grabbed on the
I
rail.
grabbed the rail.
Right.
And I want to grab the rail because, and that's a really good thing for me to be doing, is holding on to the rail. The tricky part for Katie is what is she going to do? Because you watch me coming up. So I got it. So Katie, are you feeling a little nervous?
Yeah.
Okay, what did I do that's helpful to me?
You turn sideways.
I turn sideways. Most people don't realize if I turn sideways, that's actually easier for me because as I turn sideways, I can actually stabilize myself, especially if I have a rail behind me. I can stabilize myself a lot easier sideways. This way, I'm stepping off and it's controlled falling. So as I step off and I step down, I have to then bring my foot up and over. Now I have to do it again. So I have to step down and then bring my foot. So I'm actually at greater risk of losing control versus being sideways. It's a lot easier for me to step this way. So now let's see. This time I go to come down. So I'm up at the top.
Somebody says when their 89-year-old father comes down backwards.
And so that's the other option. So this is the other way I can come down because you watch me do it. This is actually, because which way am I going to fall if I do fall?
Forward.
I'm going to fall into the steps, which is why it's safer to walk upstairs with somebody when you're first working with them and you're not sure. Work on ascending steps rather than descending steps. And so you can work on simply doing this, walking backwards. Walking backwards is actually one of the early skills people will have trouble with. So by working on this, actually it's not a bad idea as an exercise. We also can work on, if we want, we can step up this way. Now what's nice of this step together is if we work on this, where we're working on these kind of mobility things, where you step together. If you think about walking, literally walking, what you have to do is weight shift from foot to foot. So if I want to work on weight shifting, one of the things to think about is sidestepping. Because when I sidestep, I can hold on to the rail, either on steps or just on a flat surface, but what this sidestepping business is going to prepare me better for walking. And so I'm actually rehearsing my walking just when I'm doing sidestepping. But again, you got to be thinking about this rather than just having me do what you have me do without thinking about it. So Katie, if you wanted me to work on something, what's one way you could help me recognize you want me to try something?
Showing you.
Okay.
Visual cue.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Teepa.
Hey.
Hey. Yeah. How about we work on some sidestepping?
some
Here.
side
Yeah,
stepping.
watch me.
Okay,
Okay? Do this.
do that.
Do this.
I know how to do that.
All right. Good job.
You should do 3 and go back the other way.
Go back the other way. Okay, let's do it.
Oh, wait a minute. I'll keep going this way.
Oh.
Oh, what just happened? What did I just realize? I did this fine,
Yeah.
but then when I went to do this, I was,
You were that didn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is that,
You
do you
lost
think?
track. Because it's a question of sequencing and changing direction.
What else is it? Which one have I led with for everything I've done?
You're right. So
Right.
You're right dominant.
So what am I? Yeah. So what
So
am I suddenly expected to do?
Go left dominant.
Go left dominant. So I'm putting all my weight on my right and stepping out, and it's like, well, so everybody could do that. And it's like, until my dementia starts affecting my brain's ability to do the switch up. And if you don't ever do this, you don't realize that's starting to be a problem, because nobody thinks that that could be a problem. But what that means is if Katie's on this side, over here, and she says, I want you to get in the tub, because now we're at the house, and she wants me to step over the edge of the tub so I'm in the shower, or I'm in the bath. So if she stands here and I'm trying to figure out how to get over, and I don't know what to do, what's the most common thing you think people say in this moment? What do you think people say?
Well, lift your left leg up.
What? Lift my leg up.
Yeah. Lift your left. Lift this one up.
Okay. What do you want me to do with it?
I want you to put it over there.
Over there?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't think that's a good idea.
No. That's what.
Okay, so the tub must be over here, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I thought it was here.
Oh.
What do I know?
I'm sorry.
Okay,
I thought you
no,
were
it's
stepping
okay.
this way.
It's that way. So she's trying to get me to do that. So what are you going to do
Nothing.
instead? If it's over here?
It's over there.
Uh-huh. This is called problem solving.
Okay.
So Katie's got an idea. Let's see what it is. Y'all have ideas out there? Because this is my left foot and that's the tub. What's an easy solution that I've got a funny feeling Katie hasn't thought of yet by the way she's moving and acting? What did you just figure out?
Turn you.
Oh, have me turn around. It took Katie 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3. It took about 30 seconds for her brain to be able to think through this puzzle of what to do. How many times do you think somebody might go, here, pick your foot up, and cause me a lot of frustration, and themselves a lot of frustration, and even the possibility that they stretch or strain their back, when in fact, all you really had to do was have me turn around. Now you probably want to switch sides over
Well, I
here.
was going to have you facing the tub.
Uh-huh. Well, I'm just going to step this way now.
Hey.
I'm going to step over and step in, just like we worked in side step. Because we've been working on that side stepping. Now's a good time to put it into action. But if you know I lead with my right, figure out how you can position me so I get to lead. Now, here's the tricky part. Where's my support?
Behind you.
Uh-huh. So if she's going to be helpful, she has to move forward a little bit. So as we step forward, I'm actually where I want to be. All right, now I know we're getting real close to time, and I told you I'd show you the streets. So with this time, we'll just walk up the steps. But it was an opportunity to do something on mobility. And frankly, mobility matters. So we're gonna look down here, because actually this part of the street, nice and even. The start here, little bumpy. I'm gonna point this out to you, but you're not gonna be able to see it well, and we'll run out of time before we can get all the way up there. Once you get into the main part of Hillsborough, guess what? It has great big flagstones. It's actually created as it's an old town. It's been around for a long, long time. Somewhere in the 1700s it was first founded. So some of the paving up there is fairly uneven. We can walk up that way, it won't hurt us. Let's head that way. But what does that mean? What what it means if you aren't careful is that you could end up starting off okay and end up getting to a place where I don't have as much skill as I've been showing. What we also have here is our bus stop. Now it's interesting what they have at the bus stop. You know, this is Orange County Department on Aging. We've got a pretty active Department on Aging. We have what's called a dementia-friendly community. So what they have here at the bus stop is remember to take time to stretch. So we could do this, and then we can do this, and then we can do this, and then we can do that, and then we can, pick up our leg behind us, and then we can pick up our other leg, and then we take our arms and stretch back. So now what's nice about that, Katie? If you were taking a walk with me.
Because it's a sign and you could see it.
It's a sign and I could see it. You could point it out, and before too long, we're doing pretty well. I've got something I'm doing. I paused, I stopped. I'm actually exercising again, doing a stretch. Now, what you also may note is it's pretty noisy along here. So one of the things we might want to think about is whether or not I'm going to be able to have a conversation with you while we're walking, or whether we should just be walking.
Yeah, it's a little noisy.
It's a little noisy. And if Katie were actually my partner, what I'd say is I'd want her probably right about there. Because what's nice about her being right there is I can keep her within my field of vision, but I've got her on my non-dominant side, which means I'm very protected over on this side. What else is nice about this from your perspective, Katie?
I'm on the traffic side.
She's on the traffic side.
I'm a barrier.
She's got a barrier there. And so the risk of me doing something and moving out into traffic, plus she's a little ahead of me, so guess who knows where we're going?
I do.
Me too, because I'm following you. So it helps me keep focused on you being with me and me going where you're going, to have yourself slightly in front of me. What does that mean you have to keep up with, Katie?
I gotta keep up with where you are. So
where I am.
Yeah.
So this is that moment where you have to sort of figure out, is this a safe option or not? So we're gonna head on across the street here because we have a few more seconds. And the light's still green. Katie was a little worried about that. She saw whether the traffic had stopped. Here's where things get a little interesting. And they get interesting for a couple of reasons. Anybody want to make a guess what's making this sidewalk sort of interesting? Anybody got some ideas? What are you noticing?
There's the stones and you're stepping over the cracks.
We've
Very
got big
uneven.
stones, we've got little stones, we've got surfaces that aren't quite level, we've got darker and lighter stones, and this is where little kids play games like this. They do things like where they just try to jump and get to it, but I might actually think I can only walk on the stones, or only certain colors of the stones. And
Said, be light care, this is where the floor is lava.
floor, you got it, this is the floor is lava. And so it's a great look, but not necessarily the best look for somebody who's starting to live with some challenges, unless they have a partner. And now my partner does a hand under hand over here, because it turns out when you do that, and maybe even then transition to over here, what ends up happening is I actually start relying on my partner for keeping up with the flooring. And I'm less concerned about where I'm walking because I'm watching, my partner is actually my guide. And it turns out when you walk with somebody, very quickly, I don't know if you've noticed Katie and I, she followed my rhythm, and within approximately 6 to 10 steps, we're in the same pattern of moving. That's what human beings do when you get them together and they hold hands and they walk. They start following the same pattern. So this is our little view of downtown Hillsborough. Abby will take a little look around. This is the old courthouse. We got lots of interesting things around here. Lots of interesting things. So it's a great place to come. It's a great place to be. As long as everybody around you is aware that if you need help, they're willing to help. And that's our goal here in Hillsborough, is to make it a community where somebody living with dementia could get separated and still be supported. So for those of you out there, thanks for joining us. I hope you learned a little bit or had a moment where you went, oh, that's cool. And if not, let us know what we need to include, because we're in this to help make a difference. And so if you have questions, you can go to our website. You can do our, what else, Abby?
Link in our profile.
The link in our profile. There you go, the famous link in our
Merch
profile.
and consultations and all kinds of
Has all kinds of good stuff. So till next time, you guys take care with care, and we'll see you again in 2 weeks for another Dementia at Dusk.
Hi, I'm Teepa Snow, and you just found our YouTube channel and watched one of our videos. I'm the owner and founder of Positive Approach to Care. Thanks for watching, and if you liked, if you have a comment about, or you would, please share it with people you know. Oh, and if you haven't yet done it, consider subscribing. We'll let you know when the next new video comes out, and you might want to visit our website, www.teepasnow.com, where you'll find other resources as well. See you there.